Every story has a spark and we are here to light it up. This is Kaleidoscope with Savithri Rodrigo, where stories matter. From the Kaleidoscope studios, Dharshan Munidasa, Young Contemporaries 2025 and News. Bold and fearlessly original, Young Contemporaries 2025 is here. 12 of Sri Lanka's brightest emerging artists lit up the Barefoot Gallery, pushing boundaries from paint and sculpture to photography and multimedia. It's art that challenges, inspires and celebrates identity, culture and change. Backed by 35 years of the George Keyt Foundation's legacy, this is where the future of Sri Lankan art takes centre stage. With one of these artists presented the coveted Young Contemporary 2025 award. Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Do join, subscribe, follow and like us for more. SriLanka Life, CDB, The Daily Morning. Thank you so much for being awesome partners.
She wins with CDB Wings, exclusive financial solutions for women.
Quick, sharp and straight to the stories that count. Here's your week. CDB News in a blink. Container volumes handled at the Colombo port go up by 5.7% year-on-year to 5.43 million TEUs from January to August this year. The ADB welcomes Sri Lanka's recovery, citing 8 quarters of upturn and a Q2 that outperformed forecasts. The University of Colombo successfully develops a drug capable of destroying cancer cells. And in our market sketch this week, the All Share Price Index at the Colombo Stock Exchange continued to hold steady above 22,000 points with healthy turnover levels of close to 7 billion rupees per day. US oil production is likely to set a record high this year, which has restrained OPEC Plus members from increasing output to keep oil prices relatively stable around the current level of $62 per barrel. Gold pushed through $4,000 an ounce to hit an all-time record high, driven by investors and central banks seeking safety from mounting economic and geopolitical uncertainty alongside expectations of further interest rate cuts by the US Federal Reserve. It's a week of firsts. Dame Sarah Malali is the first woman ever to be appointed Archbishop of Canterbury. Sanae Takaichi is Japan's first female Prime Minister. 102-year-old Kokichi Akuzawa gets a Guinness World Record as the oldest person to summit Mount Fuji. John Clark, Michael Deveray and John Martinis get the Nobel Prize for Physics for discovering quantum tunneling and energy quantization in electric circuits. Rockland Distillery's Colombo No. 7 Ration Navy Dry Gin is crowned the world's best gin at the 2025 Concours Mondial de Brussels.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. SriLanka Life.
"30 years of flavour, tradition and innovation." Nihonbashi, Sri Lanka's iconic Japanese restaurant, celebrated a milestone. And Chef Dharshan Munidasa, a global culinary trailblazer, shares how authentic washoku, bold creativity and a legacy of world-class dining transformed Colombo's food scene. Dharshan, congratulations, 30 years on, it's a long journey. How has your vision of bridging Japan and Sri Lanka through authentic washoku evolved?
The end goal was the same, of not changing what real Japanese food is. And I think that Sri Lanka has accepted a lot of that. Maybe is partly due to our efforts. And I think it's also a lot to do with communication. Today, information about anything is so easily available. But it's how you digest that information. So for Sri Lanka, I think we were always connected to Japan through Buddhism or travel or people from Japan coming to Sri Lanka, all that. But we were never connected to food at this level. Today, I see young Sri Lankans coming here and going wow about our food. And I'm proud to say that when these young couples, they go to Japan, we are the closest resemblance of what they see in Japan. So I think I'm proud to say that we achieved something.
So Nihonbashi was the first Sri Lankan restaurant to be on Asia's 50 best list. What did that recognition mean for you personally, but also for Sri Lanka's culinary offerings?
Nihonbashi, I think even today we do things that other Japanese restaurants even in developed countries cannot do, such as buying tuna whole. The ability to do that stems from the fact that we are in Sri Lanka where we catch tuna. And I think it's our commitment trying to get the best possible fish onto our plates. Ingredients availability is key. I mean, there's no use being on Asia's 50 best list when you import everything from somewhere and just plate it up in a city. Food is more connected to nature, to the land, to the sea, and I think like Buddhism, the DNA of Washoku I brought in and adapted in Sri Lanka. So I think from a Japanese restaurant being on that list, I am more proud that I achieved that with a lot of Sri Lankan ingredients.
What is the ripple effect you have with Ministry of Crab and Kama Sutra when you had it?
Ministry of Crab was the ingredient journey. I had walked enough in Sri Lanka to appreciate what's available locally, the local catches of tuna, crabs, lobsters, prawns. I've tried everything. I've put fish tanks, I've put fish in there, groupers in there, prawns in there. And I think Ministry of Crab was a disciplined play on a single ingredient. Kama Sutra was my other half. If I'm half Japanese, half Sri Lankan, that restaurant was that other half. But Kama Sutra also brought in the discipline of ingredients, recipes. For instance, kottu roti was measured of the carb and the protein ratio was consistent. That time, I think it was interesting because I brought both sides of me onto two restaurants, and Ministry of Crab celebrated our most expensive ingredient.
Some of your dishes, original dishes, have become signature items in your menu. How do you balance authenticity and innovating?
So most of the dishes, although they are not Japanese restaurant, you wouldn't see it in any other Japanese restaurant. Tensabi temaki, olive oil kaketaicha, shirunashi ramen. But all these names are Japanese. And you tell this to a Japanese, they would understand what it's going to be. So it's something, the deep value or the core ingredient methodology of each dish is in the name, and people can relate to it. So a Japanese would be able to understand these dishes much more, although it's something that doesn't exist somewhere. So therefore, it becomes a new Japanese dish and not necessarily fusion.
Being conferred the Order of the Rising Sun, it's very prestigious and a rare honor. How has that recognition actually influenced your journey?
We are humbled to have received it. At the same time, we need to do more. Not in trying to get the next award or anything like that, but yes, we were worthy of receiving it, but now in our mind, we never did it to receive it. Now that we received it, we are trying to make what we do now worthy of that. So it's a journey that keeps on going and trying to pay homage to what that is.
And how do you envision the future of Nihonbashi and the future of Sri Lankan cuisine?
Nihonbashi, I think, will continue to evolve. I think we are still at a stage that imports are so expensive, so there is not much we can do with bringing stuff from other countries, but we are growing things more. There are more cheeses available in Sri Lanka, made in Sri Lanka than ever before. And there is a good side to that also. And I think we can keep on trying with local ingredients. Sri Lankan food, I think with the number of tourists coming in, there is a natural appreciation, growth, documentation, photographs of our food and our culture. And I think we are taking it to the world at all levels.
The weekend's calling, but we'll be right here next week with more stories that matter.